I'm so impressed with the two other speakers that came before me, Delphine and Megan. And I also wanted to use some of all that stuff, but I get very animated when I'm on stage sometimes. So I'm just going to speak from my heart, which is, I think, what everybody has done here for all of you. The fact that you are here is no accident. And the fact that we are celebrating or defining an X is actually not that easy. Because, and I put my notes down here about the letter X. Why is it that of all letters, it is the X that we use when we say X marks the spot? It is also the word or also the letter that is used when X, you didn't make it. Why? It's also fascinating for me to know that it's not any other letter. Can you imagine if I'm up here, or Delphine, or Megan, or all the other speakers saying, today we are here to define your B. Just doesn't fit, right? Today we are here to define your F. You know, and then I'll start it with like Delphine. Let's hear everybody say the word F. Wow. Doesn't work, right? But when you say X, there's a mystery behind it. And I think young people and not so young people, that it doesn't matter how old you might be. If you've never defined or never discovered your X, it's not too late to discover it. It never is. When you look at an X, it's two lines that cross smack in the middle of each other, forming four lines of equal lengths, making up the letter that we know, the letter X. I feel X, with its four equal sides or equal lengths, signifies certain things that we must have in our life. One is, it may signify balance, or elements that stay connected to maximize the strength of one's X. It may signify the soul, the mind, the heart, the spirit. I was fascinated when I spoke with some of the students a few weeks ago, when I asked them, are you asking me to be a part of this because of my past? Because I was the former mentor and judge of the X Factor Philippines. And sometimes I still have people asking me, so what is the X Factor that people must have in order to win a show like X Factor? Let's get away from X Factor or The Voice. Let's go into American Idol. How many times has the champion who's been on stage and who's rated so well and who's won in all the votes actually doesn't become the popular one? It's the next one, or number 5 or number 7 that actually becomes popular. For me, that's the one with the X Factor. What is it then? What is the X Factor? Some of you may be valedictorian, summa cum laude, whatever cum laude, but you may not necessarily make it in the area that you worked so hard for. So how do you begin to define that X? I personally think it starts with an openness, an open heart that makes you ready to accept whatever comes your way. I'm jumping ahead, and I don't want to, so I'll just go as what I've written down here. Sometimes I still have people asking me, and honestly, it's really hard to come up with an answer. Is it a face? Is it youthfulness? This whole room is full of that. Is it your background? Oh, galing ako sa mahirap na pamilya. Mahirap ako nung lumaki. Mahirap talaga. Oh, mahirap. But, you know, sometimes those things are the things that latch on and add on to the X factor that you need in order to make it at a certain time. Is it the talent? Is it the voice? Or is it all of these things added on together to create the X? Delphine used the word Y a while ago. And what a great way to use that letter. But there are other letters that people use, especially for those who do not see eye to eye with your X, the word Y, but not used as, you know, like the way Delphine said, it's my Y. It's used like, why? Or for people who are surprised, it's the letter O. And for people who really, really agree with you or who defended you, it's the letter C. And sa mga Pinoy, pag talagang medyo na-surprise sila, it's I. They just parang, but it's all letters, right? The thing is, when you talk about being an X, I feel it's a tool in defining a start. Well, actually, just to start things off, you know, I mean, you can think of an X as one thing that you might have, or several things that you might have that you excel in ever since you were young. And you all are young. So you all know each other here, not just by name, but for the strength of each one. Already building up what could later be the X. Now, here's something interesting, very interesting. There are times though, and it happens quite often enough, that what you once thought was your X wasn't actually the X that you thought. In other words, it's like what you started to excel in, which many people know about already, was actually just the lowercase x, not the capital X. Let me give you an example. My son, Gabriel Valenciano, singer, dancer, music producer, and he can move on stage. When I'm on stage with him, I'm telling you, my tongue hangs all the way down to the ground. The young people here, you have so much energy. He represents the young people. There's so much potential in each and every one of you, whether you are a music producer, whether you are a dancer, whether you are somebody with just a lot of heart for other people, whether you want to educate, whether you're beautiful, inside and out, you have potential. Well, we all thought that he'd shine in this. But X also stands for the number 10. And smack in the middle, when you divide it, it's 5 and 5. So you might not have just one X, but several X's to make up the capital X, not those little lowercase x's. Gab's talents are spread out now into different things. His brother, Paulo, has directed my last concert, Arise, which was held last year in celebration of my 30 years. But Gab, who is now excelling in another land, in the United States, was just honored yesterday and featured at the UCLA Hammer Museum as a cutting-edge filmmaker, the first Filipino featured, and his super selfies were shown. That's the reason why he got it. Okay? He has directed the latest Jessica Sanchez video. And before he came to the States a few months ago, he texted his mom and I saying, "Dad, I need to get the confirmation on this, but I think I just got an email from the management of Beyonce." And it was the management of Beyonce. Her video, 7-Eleven, has now 120 million views. And if you watch it and you watch Gab's super selfies, it's the same ideas, because her management reached out and tapped on the X factor that Gab had. And Gab, through Skype and through email, was giving all of his ideas, and the rest is history. Now, the thing is, what is your X? Does it have to be as big as what Megan has become, or what Delphine is doing, or what I'm doing? Are you familiar with a nerve, in a central nerve, okay, that gives us the sense of equilibrium, that if we don't have it, we can't retain our balance? Do you know, any of you know the name of that verb, that nerve? It's really weird, but I like it because it starts with another letter, the letter V. It's called the vestibulocochlear nerve. Did you even know that? Because I didn't. But its role creates such an impact in our lives. Is it seen by anyone? It is not. It is known. Is it known by anyone? Not everybody knows about it. But if I don't have it, it will look like I'm trying to dance all the time, because I won't be able, even Manny Pacquiao will not be able to stand up on his feet for long. It's that nerve that gives us the sense that we're moving right or left even when our eyes are closed. On a plane, that's the one. Without that, we won't know. Is it seen? Will you ever be exposed on a TEDx stage? Will you ever be exposed in television, or on a big stage? Maybe not. But the role that you can play in somebody else's life can have such an impact that it changes not just a moment of someone's life, but it changes an entire life. The X also can be looked at as 4 arms of equal lengths, but it can also signify 5 different points that when connected properly create the X that you were destined to be. I sing, I write, I make music, I act, I produce, I perform. All different points. But none of these would be maximized if I didn't have the passion to do what I do. Fueled in the body, this is 1 point. Fueled in the mind, this is another point. Fueled in the heart. Fueled in the soul. All connected to something that is fueled by the Spirit. I'm a diabetic. I have been one for the past 36 years. And it's no joke when the doctor tells your wife and your mom, I'm done with my notes. But it's no joke when you hear the doctor say, Mrs. Valenciano, from the day of diagnosis, your son or your husband is given an average lifespan of 30 years. I was 14 when I was diagnosed. I'm 50 today. And I can still perform. I still go through rejection sometimes. I still go through the ups and downs of life. But young people, I've been through a house that was burned. This was right before I started singing. But young people, imagine that being an empty canvas. Okay? Nothing there. And there's a master painter who now begins to paint out what he knows will be a masterpiece. It takes time for these things to be created and to be finished. So as the master begins to paint in one area, we as spectators begin to see that X coming together beautifully. Or maybe not even an X, maybe just a picture coming together. And when you think you've seen the picture, the painter starts out elsewhere, where you're almost like going, but wait, can you finish that area? And he begins to put different colors, sometimes colors that do not seem significant to what you think is supposed to be the outcome. So he continues to paint. But the thing is, the master is not just creating a painting. He's a master, therefore he's finishing a masterpiece. And that masterpiece is you. And there is no masterpiece that does not carry its own X that's meant to create an impact in somebody else's life. It does matter what you want to do, but don't do it without the passion to do it. So he continues. For me, each stroke that takes place is like an event in our life that we may not understand. You may like the color blue. Then he starts with the color brown. It's like, wow. But it will play a role in finishing the masterpiece, and that is you. And there are no two masterpieces that are exactly alike. You are different from somebody else. And good seed, like what everybody is doing here now, good seed planted on good soil will eventually produce good fruit. That's the way it works. The X that I have in me, more than the singing, more than the dancing, more than the writing, is really the passion to know the value behind the life of every soul and to hopefully someday encourage and uplift and build up those who have been beaten, broken, casted, put away, taken for granted, rejected. There's one little phrase I have from one song. It's just one verse and one chorus. It's a song that I've recorded but never became popular. I don't sing it much, but maybe I can sing it here now. As a rebellious young man. Wait, hold on. This is a cappella. There's no music because I don't have much time. But you might find yourself in this. Young people are so vibrant, they want to keep going, but sometimes you tend to go your way instead of staying connected and being fueled by His Spirit. Lyrics are like this. I thought I did what's right, I thought I had the answers. I thought I chose the surest road, but that road brought me here. So I put up a fight, and I told you how to help me. And just when I have given up, the truth is coming clear. You know better than I. You know the way. I've let go the need to know why. For you know better than I. Thank you.